I found out about my husband's double life. Yeah, turns out he had a wife, a kid, and I had no clue. Until one day an Amazon package arrives at my house with baby clothes. I kind of brush it off at first, but when I show my husband the package, he absolutely freaks out, which gives me the biggest red flag ever. And then I find this. Hey guys, I'm in a dilemma and I need some suggestions from all of you. I'm 35 and female, married to my husband Ethan for the last 5 years, but things have gone haywire in just the last 3 months. Let me give you some context into this. Ethan and I have known each other since our childhood. We were neighbors until we both moved out to different parts of the city for our studies, but our families remain neighbors until today. Ethan is an architect and works for a construction company. He often had to travel for site visits to other cities, and I'm a nurse in public health care and run a hectic shift at the hospital, including the night shifts. Despite our hectic and unsynchronized work schedule, we were able to squeeze in quality time with each other. Our married life was getting pretty much smooth. At least, that's what I thought. 3 months ago, I found an Amazon package at my doorstep. However, the details printed on the package perplexed me. The address mentioned the box was my house, but the name was for somebody named Mia. My name's Sarah. I read the address again just to see if it was maybe the neighbors. But no, it was exactly for my address, and the details showed that it had baby clothing. I thought Ethan had ordered it to gift his friend or colleagues and maybe added the wrong name, so I took pictures of the box with the details to send it to him, and he was on a work trip and was about to reach home, so I thought to just check with him once he got back instead of sending the photo. When he returned, I showed him the box, and for some reason he turned pale, and his exact reaction was, why did that get delivered here? He quickly checked something on his phone, probably the app, though, which he ordered. I stood there confused. I asked him if he ordered it, and he hesitantly admitted that he ordered it for his friend Mia. But my mistake kept the address as ours. I asked him about Mia, and if she had a baby since the package contained baby clothing, and he explained that Mia was his college friend and had recently become a mother. So he ordered a gift for her. It would have been a normal incident that I would have forgotten the next day if Ethan had not acted so strangely upon seeing the package. As soon as he saw the details of the parcel, he practically snatched it from my hands, stashed it in his closet, and locked it. I felt disorientated by his behavior and asked him what was he hiding. I mean, it was just a parcel with baby clothing, not some valuable treasure. He didn't say anything, but he looked tense. I didn't push the matter too much and just let it go. A couple weeks later, something strange occurred. I noticed that Ethan had gotten a tattoo on his chest, and he was doing his best to hide it. The tattoo featured a cosmic design with the letter M right inside of it. I was utterly horrified by the sight, and I immediately asked him when he got the tattoo, and what does M symbolize? He explained that he's gotten it during his recent site visit where his company was constructing a fancy gym that had a tattoo parlor. According to Ethan, the tattoo artist was there during his site visit and insisted on getting one done. However, my question about the meaning behind the letter M remained unanswered. He casually brushed it off, saying M is for my sister, Maria. I found it surprising because Ethan had never been close to his sister to the extent that he would get a tattoo done for her. Before I could delve further into the matter, he abruptly silenced me, telling me it's no big deal and that I should not overreact. So I understand that these incidents may not seem significant, but Ethan's behavior was deeply troubling. Most people who get a tattoo proudly flaunt it to their spouses, friends, and others. However, Ethan was actively hiding it. I know what some of you might be thinking, that the letter M could also represent Mia. But at the time, I was foolish enough to not even connect the two incidents. Ethan's frequency of work trips had increased over this last year, and it's mostly on weekends. While I also have hospital shifts on a few weekends, but not on all. About a month ago, while cleaning Ethan's closet, I stumbled upon something that sent shivers right down my spine. Normally, we respected each other's closet space and did not open them to avoid disrupting the organization. It was a weekend and I was stuck at home without any plans, so I decided to get a wardrobe organizer and tidy up the closet a bit. Initially, I was reluctant to clean Ethan's closet, but I don't know, somehow I found myself cleaning and arranging his wardrobe, and I am glad I did. Inside one of the chests in his wardrobe, I found a medical prescription for post-delivery medications prescribed to a woman named Mia. It devastated me, and this could not be a mere coincidence. I was certain that if I confronted Ethan about it, he would first scold me for intruding into his personal space, and then just come up with some lame excuse, claiming that his friend had asked him to order the medication, blah blah blah. Therefore, I decided to gather solid evidence before confronting him. I jotted down the details of the hospital and the doctor from the prescription, and thoroughly searched the closet for further evidence. But I failed. All I had were the hospital details. However, I remembered that I had taken pictures of the courier packages, and it had some details as well. I searched through my gallery and zoomed in on the pictures to review and, well, the information on it. To my surprise, I found an unfamiliar phone number on the box. Curious, I used a tracking app to check the number and discovered that it belonged to Mia. After picking up my brain for several hours, I finally came up with a plan to gather some more concrete evidence. So, I drove to my friend Amy's place, who is also a nurse at the same hospital. I narrated the entire incident to her, and she too sniffed on an affair. I asked Amy to call the number I had obtained from the package, posing as a nurse from that specific hospital, and I could have made the call myself, but I was afraid that Mia or Ethan might recognize my voice. Amy explained to Mia that it was a feedback information call. Since the prescription contained details of the medication, Amy used that as a basis to gather feedback and establish authenticity. She then informed Mia that due to some server issue, some of the patient's information is lost, so she would need Mia's husband's name, address, insurance folio number, and a few other details. Well, Mia readily provided this information without hesitation. As Amy jotted down the details on the paper, my world came crashing down. She wrote down Mia's husband's name as Ethan. Tears welled up in my eyes as the ugly truth about my husband was uncovered. Amy hung up the phone and gave me a hug. See, Amy's a front desk nurse, so she has access to check the insurance details of various insurance companies. She quickly logged into her laptop and looked up the insurance information. My shattered marriage was displayed on the screen right there before my eyes. The insurance was in Ethan's name, with Mia listed as his wife, and I printed out the insurance details, but I didn't want Ethan to get off the hook so easily. My friend decided to do some digging on social media and discovered that Mia and Ethan both worked at the same company, but she was based out of a different site, where Ethan would go to visit almost every week for his work trip. Ethan was supposed to be back in the next few hours, so I rushed to my house to gather some essential belongings, and I left a note on the fridge, stating that I would be working extra shifts at the hospital. Honestly, I did not expect Ethan to bat an eye at my absence in the home, but I simply wanted to avoid him as much as possible. I stayed with my friend for the next few days, plotting my revenge. It was the toughest day of my life. I was consumed by anger and frustration, yet I felt powerless to do anything about it. I could have confronted Ethan directly with the insurance details, but I wanted, well, to avenge the betrayal. My mind took me back to the memories when, after a couple of years of our marriage, I discussed with Ethan about starting a family. I expressed my desire to have a baby, but he dismissed it, stating that he wasn't ready yet. He used our demanding work schedule as an excuse, promising that in a few years he would move to a more stable position. But that would not require frequent travel, and then we could, plan for a baby. It was just a bunch of lies. These lonely moments haunted me, and for the next few days I found myself howling and crying day and night. With the help of my friend, I devised a plan. I informed my parents and my in-laws that Ethan had got a promotion. I was planning a surprise celebration for him. As part of the plan, we would travel to his other office site to celebrate his achievement while enjoying a mini vacation in the city. They all were thrilled by the idea, and Ethan's sister, Maria, wanted to join us as well. I roped her in. The following weekend, Ethan once again left for the other city, unaware of the impending storm that was awaiting him. I'd already made the travel arrangements for the family. I, along with my parents, parents-in-law, and Maria, flew to the city. I had the address of Mia's house, so finding it wasn't really a challenge. As we approached the home, my heart raced with dread and uneasiness. We parked the car near the location, and my father questioned whether we had arrived at the current place, since it appeared to be a residential area with no signs of any hotel or office space, and I just ignored his question. I was lost in my own thoughts. With a heavy heart, I pressed the doorbell while everyone else eagerly awaited to surprise Ethan. However, their expression turned into absolute shock as a woman in her mid-20s entered the door. Everyone shared a harrowing look when we saw Ethan coming out from one of the rooms holding a baby, although I already knew the truth. Witnessing the painful reality unfolding before my eyes absolutely shattered me. Ethan yelled out, "What the hell?" Everyone except me rushed into the house, demanding an explanation from him while I stood there numb. Ethan pleaded with everyone to leave now, promising he would explain everything later. However, my father-in-law was adamant about straightening the situation right here, right now. Both Ethan and Mia were in tears. Ethan almost blurted out that it was a mistake, but he held back his tongue after Mia's stern look. He buried his face into his hands and started sobbing. My mother-in-law demanded an explanation from Mia, and she confessed that they both had an affair in the office and unknowingly, she conceived. They even went as far as trying to get rid of the baby, but the doctor advised otherwise because that might lead to an infertility problem in her body. They did not find any other solution, hence they decided to keep the baby and marry each other in a secret ceremony. My blood ran cold, and I nearly fainted in my mother's arms. The revelation left everyone enraged, and my father's eyes burned with anger as he questioned why Ethan had not divorced me. Ethan claimed that he didn't know how to confront me about the affair, since our married life was going so smooth. My father-in-law erupted, shouting at him, asking why he cheated on me if everything was going so smoothly. The room fell into dead silence. I was unable to endure the sight of Ethan sitting back with his mistress, with her baby in his arms. I limped my way out of the home. Maria and my mother followed me outside, and I was sweating profusely and was on the verge of collapsing due to anxiety and panic. Maria insisted that we leave the place and discuss the rest of the matter after going back home. After we returned, I packed my bags and went to my parents' house, uncertain of what the future held for me. A few days later, Maria visited me and informed me that Ethan had come to their house and claimed that it was all a mistake. He confessed to being trapped by Mia, but he still loved me and wanted to continue with me. After hearing her out, I questioned why Ethan did not confess this in front of Mia and exposed her manipulation. You see, he was just fooling everyone for so many years. Despite his true colors got exposed, he was still trying to manipulate others, but I was adamant about separating from him. A week later, we received a call that my father-in-law had collapsed and suffered a mild heart attack. My parents and I rushed to the hospital in panic, where Ethan was also present with his mother and Maria. He was admitted to the same hospital where I worked, so I quickly checked with the doctors about his condition, and I learned that the heart attack had been triggered by underlying stress. When I shared this information with the family, Ethan pounced at me, blaming me for his father's condition. I was stunned by his sudden accusations, and before I could recover from the shock of the sudden allegation, he bit his tongue and stormed out of the corridor. It's been almost a week since my father-in-law's heart attack, and his condition is now stable, but he's kept under observation. Throughout this time, Ethan has not missed a chance to berate me, holding me responsible for his father's condition. According to him, his father suffered because of the sudden revelation of Ethan and Mia's affair. He even told me that if I had already known about the affair, I should have just confronted him privately before involving others, as that might have prevented his father's attack. My father-in-law and mother-in-law have always adored me since my childhood, as we're neighbors. After my nursing degree was done, I made sure to do monthly health checkups on them. My mother-in-law has bad arthritis, so it's my responsibility to ensure she gets proper physiotherapy. The same goes for my father-in-law's cardiological issues. In a nutshell, I take care of both their medical conditions. Hence, it's quite natural for them to get upset on seeing our married life fall apart. However, I can't help but wonder if it was the way in which Ethan cheating came to light that did cause the problems, or simply the fact that he cheated on me that caused the problem. I don't know. The news of Ethan's double life spread like wildfire in the neighborhood. It became the hot topic of gossip at a local community club, and our close friends are giving Ethan's family the cold shoulder. The other day, the doctors advised them to avoid sudden shock or news to my father-in-law since he has such a fragile heart. On hearing this, Ethan and Maria rolled their eyes towards me, indicating that I'm the reason behind all of this. Maria subtly suggested I should have confronted them about the affair instead of revealing Ethan's cheating as a surprise. She said her father can't handle such shock, which obviously led to his heart attack. Ethan and Maria are shifting the blame onto me, portraying me to be the villain in this situation. However, no one's addressing the obvious issue at hand, that, Ethan was cheating on me with another woman. He secretly married her and has a child with her despite being legally married to me. I pray to God every day for my father-in-law's speedy recovery, because I can't bear the guilt any longer. Meanwhile, I contacted a few divorce lawyers to file for separation, but today morning, I visited my father-in-law in the hospital. He held my hand and asked me if I was planning for a divorce, to which I just smiled and asked him to rest well. I told him that I haven't thought about it and will discuss all this once he recovers. I'm at a fix now. My mental health is deteriorating with every passing day, seeing the man in front of me. I have mixed emotions of anger and frustration with my husband as a sense of guilt for putting my father-in-law through all this. I don't know if I did the right thing by revealing the dual life my husband and family members, or maybe I'm the a-hole. Now, what should I do? Should I wait for father-in-law to recover, or should I prioritize my well-being and file divorce anyways and disconnect from them all? Looking forward to some experience, advice, and suggestions on this matter. Thank you. What's up, everybody? Mr. Reddito here. Oh boy, looks like we have ourselves a situation. I don't even know how he went ahead and got married when he was legally married to someone else. Anyways, there's multiple updates to hop into this one. If you guys are new to the channel, what's up? My name's Mr. Reddito once again, and I drop a video every single day. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and those bell notifications so you never miss a video. Here's your first update. Well, hey again. Thanks everyone for all the suggestions and advice. Trust me, Your support meant a lot to me during the phase of self-doubt. It gave me the courage to own my decision and prioritize my well-being. It's been 3 months since my first post, so let me bring you guys up to speed. The positive affirmations of my first post gave me the courage, and I spoke to my parents regarding this. My parents were supportive of my decision, so I met and discussed my situation with a few of the expert divorce lawyers and hired one. They asked me if I wanted to claim any alimony, but I declined. I earn plenty of money, enough to pay my bills, and I don't need a penny from that traitor. I sent the divorce papers to Ethan with a note that says, "Don't tell your father about the divorce. If you tell him anything, it might happen to him, and you'll be the one responsible for that." After receiving the divorce papers, he immediately called me and said that he did not have the opportunity to apologize to me appropriately. He expressed remorse for his actions, saying that he was swayed by Mia's personality, but had no intention of any long-term relationship. He says that Mia lacked empathy and she did not understand him like I do. In short, they aren't connected emotionally, despite the baby. He begged me to stay and requested some time to mend things with Mia and get rid of her. Really? I was flabbergasted. Either he was trying to fool me to remain married so that he can save his reputation in the neighborhood, or he was just cruel to get rid of his baby. I don't give a crap either way about it, and asked him to cooperate with the divorce proceedings. Meanwhile, my father-in-law recovered and was discharged from the hospital. I felt a sense of relief not only because he was well again, but also because it meant I would not have to see Ethan's face at the hospital anymore. His face disgusted me. Ethan informed his mother and Maria about our impending divorce. They both came to my house while I was at the hospital. My mother-in-law sobbed as she apologized to my parents for Ethan's actions. They pleaded with my parents to convince me to reconsider my decision, stating that Ethan was remorseful and willing to make amends. My parents relayed the conversation to me but respected my choice, without pushing me to reconsider. Surprisingly, 2 days later, I received a text from Ethan, stating that he was ready to proceed with the separation and would soon sign the divorce papers. He requested that I allow him to stay in the house for a few weeks until he found a place of his own or decided to move back with his mistress in the other city. By the way, the house in which we lived was originally mine. My father had gifted it to me during our wedding, so it naturally belonged to me. I agreed to let him stay for a month, as any disagreement on this matter would only prolong the divorce proceedings, and I wanted to rid myself of this man ASAP. After my father-in-law bounced back, he visited our house and apologized to me for Ethan's treachery. I too apologize for putting you through all this, and he hugged me and asked me to file for a divorce. He said that Ethan does not deserve a wife like me, and instead he should suffer with his low-life mistress. I held his hand and carefully broke the news that we were already in the process of separation, and we had deliberately kept him out of the loop, just to avoid any further medical shock. My father-in-law laughed at this, saying he's a strong man. He offered his support for my decision and promised to be a fatherly figure to me, despite all the turmoil. I could not be happier to have him by my side. My divorce is about to be settled soon. I won't say that I've moved on, but I'm at a much better place than earlier. I got to know from the neighbors that my father-in-law has abandoned Ethan, prohibiting him from his entering the home. He also rebuked Ethan and Maria for shifting the blame on me and berating me all the while. Although I avoid conversations with all them, I still conduct the monthly checkup for my soon-to-be ex-parent-in-laws. Well, I don't go to their house and instead ask them to visit the hospital. A month ago, Ethan vacated my house and, well, gave me the key. I went to my house, but I felt haunted. The memories of my married life broke me down. I'm sure that I cannot move on if I live in that house, and I've decided to rent out that property and move to a different place and start fresh. I'm even considering shifting to the other part of the city to wipe off all my past traumas. What do you guys think? Should I move on? Wow, what a story. I'm just glad the father-in-law involved in here never gave up on OP. What do you guys make of this story? And, well, we know at the end of it, OP's ex-husband is going through it all. Left with his mistress alone, has to have the baby all by himself, and is juggling work life now as a single father. Do you think this was some sort of karma? Let me know your thought, guys. Drop it below in the comment section. If you're new to the channel, my name's Mr. Reddito. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Hit that subscribe button for more daily videos. I'll see you guys in the next one. Remember, it's cool to be kind.